Hey, this is Jody and Aaron with Welcome Home with Gateway Realty, and we're happy to be back to talk with you about some exciting news in home buying and selling.
Hello.
Things are heating up.
Yeah, outside and inside and with the market.
Definitely outside. It's gorgeous out today.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be 75.
Maybe we should have shot outside today. I don't know. It's beautiful out.
Well, you might have to shoot outside next time because the house might not be here.
I know, right?
Might be sold.
So last week, I think we talked about that. I think that's when things we felt a flip with some homes.
Yes, and then I think with news of the interest rates trickling down slowly, but they're still at a downward angle. So
we'll take whatever we can get.
Exactly, but I mean, I think buyers are seeing it a little more, and especially with the weather, things are getting a little more active. And
a lot of investors are out there looking right now. That has been crazy busy right now. Investment properties are moving like crazy.
I mean, how many apartments did you sell last week?
I sold 3 apartment buildings last week. So
yeah, that's crazy.
It's a lot of investment properties moving. A lot of investors are looking and seeing and understanding what is going on in North Platte, and that is exciting for us. So
it is.
The good news and bad news. We have 58 properties on the MLS right now.
Yep.
So that tells me we need more because that's low. That's lower than it's been in a long time. So if you are listening to our podcast and you've been thinking about selling, now's the time to do that. Yeah.
I mean, depending on the price range, the upper end ones are still a little difficult to sell with the interest rate being the way they are. But I'll tell you what, you can't find a house under 100,000. In between there and 175, 200.
175 to right now, that 1 to 180, I think.
Yeah.
In February, I put 5 houses on the market between 100 and 180, and I sold all 5 of them in February. Yep. It was just like that. It was awesome. Yep. So
if you got one of those, I don't know, not lower end houses, but smaller.
Yeah, small, more inexpensive homes. Yep. I know 1867 Collective had a cute little cream puff on the market over the weekend. Updated, cute, small, but cute. I called to get a showing for tomorrow, and they had 3 offers on it over the weekend. Yeah. That is exciting.
So that's exciting, because that was not happening 2 weeks ago.
No, so that's how we know that things have heated up. Yep. So that's awesome. And then rentals, I know, are very busy.
Yes, we are very short on 3+ bedrooms. So if you have an investment property out there that you're trying to get rented and can't, which is probably not a thing.
Right.
We got a list, I think.
So we have 40 applications a month coming in for rentals. 40.
That's a lot. And we got like 5 on the list.
5 homes.
Yeah, because we rent them out so fast.
Now we do have a lot of studio apartments, right? Mm-hmm. That are available.
Yep.
And we have more of those coming, but rental homes we just are low on.
Yep.
So if you are thinking about getting into the investment business, which it's a great time right now, and don't know what to do with that home that you have had sitting, or maybe are thinking about that, give us a call, because we have an awesome team. Mm-hmm. We have an awesome team for our property management. Yep. So we would love to talk with you.
And we actually have a list of investors looking for investment properties too. So
we do.
I mean,
and definitely have those applicants out there. And we have a great screening process.
Yeah.
I mean, from credit to financials to job to referrals. Mm-hmm. We definitely screen them well. Mm-hmm. Well, we are back today with another guest for Welcome Home with Gateway Realty, and today we brought you an inspector. We're trying to be very varied with our guests. Excited to bring you Scott Mustion with A1 Inspections today. Hey Scott, how are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. We're excited to have you as the weather's warming up. It's so gorgeous outside.
I love it. Makes the inspections a lot easier.
What, not tromping through the snow?
No snow, no frost on the roofs, no wind to knock me off. So yeah, it's
Not digging through, looking for outside crawl spaces.
that is no. Well, I'm trying to find sometimes the meters outside. Tromping through the snow. Because I've got receptacles or I've got hose bibs. Things like that. So yeah, the nicer weather makes my job a lot easier.
So a few weeks ago, it was 26 below for many days in a row. Believe it or not, I showed houses every day.
I did a couple of inspections on those days, and it was I tried to find when the wind wasn't blowing.
Yeah.
And when the temperature was going to be most optimal, which it actually works for me pretty good because most of my inspections I do in the afternoon where I've got the highest temperature possible. And so I try to structure it so I can get in there where I'm not going to get blown off a roof. Or I've been on a roof and had my ladder blow off. And and of course it doesn't do me much good to call somebody in desperation, but luckily I'll just start whistling, and usually there's a neighbor or somebody. Would you just set my ladder back up for me? So I try to find the spot that's not windy or something that way.
So speaking of, we're going to talk about the cold weather right away because we're hoping it's on the way out.
Yes.
Even though Aaron, the other half of my podcast and my business partner, tells me there's a bomb cyclone coming in this weekend.
I don't like that.
I know, me neither.
My body tells me before it gets here.
Hey, as we get older, our body does talk to us about the weather, right?
It does. It does.
So when it's so cold or there's snow on the roofs, you probably don't go up there.
No.
Okay. And so also when it's cold, when there's snow around, you do dig around for?
I got to find, if depending on the age of the house, a lot of the older homes have the water meters outside. They're in a pit, so I usually look for those. Sometimes the crawl spaces are located outside. Okay. I like to look at the windows and things. So, I've got to tromp around that house. I actually went and bought a shovel and carried it with me because when we got that snow, I had like 4 in a row, and I was tired of tromping around, so I started just shoveling a little path. Well, and that worked because occasionally the realtors will bring the buyers by, and that way nobody's getting snow everywhere. But I've got to dig and look and find. A lot of times I look for a sewer clean out. I find the outside receptacles. I try to test every aspect, and unfortunately that involves the outside of the house a lot.
And try to stay safe as you're doing it.
Yes, hidden ice can be very hazardous. When the roof is covered with snow, I'll usually go up and I carry a broom. I'll try to get to an area where I can see, and maybe a lot of times when the wind is blowing, I don't have to worry about, sometimes there's a corner or a side of the roof that's not covered. And, if I can see a good enough area of shingles so I can discern the age and the condition that they're in, I usually don't have to look at the entire roof.
Okay.
And I'll usually note that in the report. I'll say, hey, the roof is limited by some snow cover, but I can see enough. I can see 15% of the roof to know that the condition is still to be in satisfactory shape.
Now, when it's winter, you do not turn the air conditioner on either, though.
I kick it on because I want to make sure the air compressor kicks on, or the compressor and the fan. I want to make sure those operate, but it's not going to actually condense and work. Okay. But I want to make sure that it's still going to be operational.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna move into spring and summer weather.
My favorite.
Look at it outside.
I love it. Oh, I know.
Gorgeous. So when you are doing home inspections inside, you do ask that the crawl space be accessible and the attic.
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
Because
Correct.
you cannot move people's things?
I don't like to move people's things. I just don't think that's very professional. I would hate to, have the liability of breaking something, which, nowadays, since the state has changed some of its statutes, home inspectors are required to register with the state and to carry liability insurance now. So, but I just don't want to do that. I just don't think that's very professional. So I always ask, if there is people that are occupying the house, would you please clear out a space so I can see things? And I've learned now too to not just say the attic or the crawl space. If you have a water meter tucked back behind the stairs somewhere, please clean that area out so I can get in there and see it. So if things that might be need accessible, a lot of people always ask me, well, hey, do you have to see this? Do you have to see this? If it's an appliance, it's not a big deal because an appliance is an easily replaceable object. But other areas, I really want to have access because I want to see the whole home.
Okay. How long does a home inspection take?
A standard home inspection is about an hour and a half.
Okay.
I have run into ones Saturday I spent 3 hours on one, but it was a larger house, and unfortunately there were a lot more issues. So if the house is well put together and was built properly to code for when it was built, I usually spend an hour and a half. If I start running into violations and things that give me pause, I'll dig a little deeper.
And that's roof to crawl space or basement?
Yep, floor to ceiling, inside to out. I want to see every inch of that house if possible.
All the electrical receptacles?
All the electrical. I want to see, and I will, I'll test every single one. So I'm usually rooting through. I want to make sure all the fixtures are flowing correctly. I like to fill up the bathtub a little ways, flush the toilet a couple times, fill up the sinks. I want to make sure there's no leaks.
What if I have one of those jetted tubs?
So I'll fill it all the way up.
Oh, wow.
And run the jets,
okay,
because I have to make sure that the jets are operating correctly, and plus I also have to make sure that the tub is GFCI protected, because that is a code requirement.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes those take a little bit longer, and then, you know, when it's draining and everything's drained out, then I can crawl in the crawl space, and if there is a leak, I'm going to know it right away.
Okay.
So it's a lot easier to find things, and it makes my job easier. Plus, you know, I can say, hey, I understand what the water flow is. I know if it's cross-connected. A lot of times some people get the hot and the cold reversed. And so, you know, I can test all that. You know, I can make sure the draining, sometimes there's a hair clog. So, you know, you run into an older sink and, you know, well, maybe the sink drains really slowly, but I've checked this tub and that sink and that tub and everything drains fine. That tells me, hey, the problem is right here.
So as an inspector, you're working for the buyer.
Correct.
And so as a realtor, I'm working for the buyer.
Correct.
And I say, you're working for us. Mm-hmm. You're pretty picky.
Yeah, I am.
Which is good. Mm-hmm. And that we want to see everything wrong.
Yep.
And some of those things are just normal wear and tear on.
Absolutely. You know, in my inspection report, I have a sheet, and it was actually at the request of a realtor. And I asked, you know, but I say, what can I do to make my report better readable, you know, more accessible? And they said, we would love to see, you know, violations and suggestions. Okay. So I have a page on there that is just suggestions, and that's the normal wear and tear in a house. Little things, you know, you might have a faucet that's starting to leak that might need a new washer. You know, you might have little things here or there. You know, maybe a door doesn't fit. You know, those are the suggestions, little things. And then I have a page for violations, things that I see that conform either to the National Building Code, the National Plumbing Code. Okay. You know, HVAC does not have a code. Theirs is all primarily certification as far as pressures go. But, you know, I can find things that are there that I may include in the violation sheet, and then, of course, electrical violations. So,
what about furnaces? Let's talk furnaces, safety, crack heat exchange.
Yes. So there's actually a fairly easy way to check your heat exchangers. A lot of people will pull them out to look for a crack. A really nice way to check a cracked heat exchanger, and I learned this having my own business over the years, is how the air flows through it. If the heat exchanger is not cracked, when you ignite the burners, you're gonna have a nice even flow of air. So I like to take the front apart and, you know, push the switch in so it'll still ignite, and I can see a nice even flow of air going through there with the blower running. Now, if that heat exchanger has a cracked, I'm gonna see a wavering flame, and it's gonna dance pretty good. And if I see any dancing, I have a carbon monoxide detector that I use, and I bring it in, and I call it a sniffer, and then it'll usually tell me, yeah, you're detecting carbon monoxide at the front, so we have a possibility of a cracked heat exchanger.
So in that instance, do you go to, and do you say, you recommend calling a certified HVAC?
Yep, I'll recommend a licensed HVAC technician.
Same with the roof?
Yep, roof. If I see any problems that give me cause, I'll say, you know, get a hold of a certified roof, you know, contractor and check them. And I always tell people, you know, the buyers, never be afraid to ask somebody to see their credentials, to see their licensing, their anything. Make sure you're getting a professional, because there's a lot of unprofessionals out there, unfortunately. But, you know, get a good qualified one. And we've got, you know, several in the town that are very good. And if they ask me for recommendations, you know, I, of course, you know, over the course of the last 30 years, I've gotten a pretty good footprint, and I know a lot of folks around here that I trust. And, you know, there may be somebody else out there that is just as qualified, and I just haven't been able to work with them yet. But I'll usually tell them somebody that I trust to recommend to go to.
Okay. What is a home inspection? Just normal Regular sized home inspection cost.
Standard home inspection is $380.
Okay.
And I don't make a whole lot of jumps. If the house is over 4,000 square feet, well, over 4,000 feet of inspectable area. So if they've got a shop or a big barn that has electrical and I feel like I should take a look at that, you know, that goes into there. So if it's over 4,000 square feet, I'll add $100 to the inspection cost.
Okay. Do you do automatic sprinkler systems?
I test them, I don't work them. So if it's winter and they're winterized, I completely leave them alone, you know.
Okay.
If it's summer and they're operating, I'll just go into the switch and I'll just kick it over to a manual station and run through a couple of the stations, and as long as I see a couple of those working, pretty good. You know, they're a pretty simple thing. If you've got one head or something that doesn't work, you know, it might be in one of the zones I didn't test it, that's an easy fix. If you've got a valve that's not operation, usually it'll be flashing a code and I can see that, and if it's not flashing a code and I've run through a couple of the zones, it's okay.
Okay. What else can you tell us?
You know, I always look at a home inspection like I'd be doing it for myself if I was buying it.
Okay.
And that's why I'm as particular as I am. I think it's just so important that the buyer never has buyer's remorse. I think they should be able to buy a house, be very comfortable with it, be very happy with it, and not have any surprises. And I try my very best to make sure that there are no surprises. And so sometimes when I first started, I had a lot of realtors that would call me up and say, "My, you're being picky." And I say, yes, but it's better for the buyers. Now, sometimes the sellers aren't really thrilled with me, but I want the buyer to have the best experience that they possibly can. And I want them to be happy, and I want people to be happy with my work as well. So I may be a little particular, but I don't want, you know, I'd hate to have somebody spend the money that they're gonna spend on a house and then immediately move in, find some issues that were detrimental, and just have that remorse. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we spent this, or I can't believe we didn't know this. And I want to do my very best to not have to worry, to eliminate that possibility. So yeah, I will be a little pickier. You know, my average report is 90 to 120 pages long when I'm done. But I've had some bad ones. My worst one actually was a person that owned a business that was, you know, a plumbing business, and they said, "I know the house is a train wreck, but I want to know every single thing that needs done. I want a punch list." And that report was, I think, 303 pages long.
Wow.
So I put a lot of pictures. If I'm going to have a violation or a suggestion, you know, hey, you should fix this or you should think about fixing this, I want to provide a picture so they know exactly what I'm talking about. They can't say, oh, well, you're writing something up to justify your expense. Like, no, if there's a picture, there's going to be an explanation to it. So sometimes they can get lengthy. My daughter actually does the reports for me. I write them out, she converts them to a PDF file and then emails them, and I send them out. And sometimes she looks at me and she's just like, "Dad."
What are you doing?
She said, this is an awful lot. But being in the teaching phase, I sometimes maybe I do draw out my explanations a little bit much, but
All thorough.
I try.
Well, Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you for
being here.
having me.
Welcome home with Gateway Realty.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.
So what's going on in North Platte? I went to business after hours Friday night.
How did that go?
It was good. It was the brothers. They were packed.
They were last time I was there too. I haven't gone to a business after hours in a while.
You should have came on Friday. You could have rode with us. They were busy. Talked to Gary Byrne from the chamber for quite a while, and Marla, and had a good conversation with both of them. And Sustainable Beef is moving right along, and they're still on target for their open date in April. Talked about that, and so that's really exciting. And what I've seen lately all over, not only are people gearing up for some St. Patty's Day fun, I see a lot of specials with corned beef and cabbage. But also they're starting the tours for the Sandhill Cranes.
Oh my gosh.
Can you hear them?
Have you seen them?
I haven't seen them yet, but I've heard them.
I've seen pictures, like you can't even see the sandbars. It's like completely,
Oh gosh, I can't wait to go see them.
yeah. There was, I want to say hundreds of thousands of them. It was crazy.
Well, I'm sure that's what's going to be coming. So Dusty Trails and the Spike, they have these, you can sign up for tours. So that's really exciting. And they bring in, I don't know if people understand that our tourist business here is huge. And so that's going to start, and then we're going to roll right into summer after the Sandhill Cranes. We'll roll right into our tourist business for summer. So Chick-fil-A will only get busier.
So I had that for the second time.
Chick-fil-A.
Yes, it was much better than the first.
I think I bought lunch that day.
Yes.
It's delish.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. We enjoyed that. We had lunch at Ribbon Chop House last week.
You said it was good.
Oh man, French dip, delish. Yeah, it was really, really
Yeah,
good. So,
I haven't had a bad meal there yet.
I think we're going to, I think we should, one of our next podcasts, or feature a local restaurant. You could buy lunch.
I think that was my idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can buy lunch. This was your idea.
Okay. Maybe I won't have to buy it at all. Maybe because we're advertising.
Oh, there
for
we go.
them.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. How are Village Park Flats coming?
They're coming along. They just started on the third triplex on the exterior. It's first floor's done. Second floor's going up. Hopefully this week, maybe the first building will be like ready to tour.
Have you had any calls?
Oh man, I have calls every week. There was a week there, had one every day.
What do you
So
think the holdup is on people?
They want to see a
jumping?
finished product.
They want to see a finished product.
And I
Okay.
think after that, it's gonna go bonkers.
That's awesome. It's exciting what's happening with those, and the pictures of them are beautiful. So I'm excited to see inside of them too.
Matter of fact, I just had a friend who lives right over here on the corner. She took a picture of it yesterday, and she said, "I'm so proud of you."
It's exciting what's happening,
Yeah,
isn't
that is,
it?
yeah.
I'm excited to see the inside. I think once that happens and we do, we get our awesome marketer, Bobby, over there to do some pictures. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
amazing. So, no, that's,
Nothing but up.
yep. And then we're going to put a model home down there.
Yes, especially if you sell this one.
Well, I'm planning on selling this one.
Yeah.
So
Today.
we'll put one up. Yes. So this one should go under contract today, and then we'll, and then hopefully they'll put one down there.
Yeah, it might be a minute before we could do a podcast in the next one, but
Yeah.
I mean, but I could always do it in the triplex.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Then we can show that off.
Yeah.
Be great. The team is doing great.
Yeah, everybody's doing good.
Yeah. The agents are. I loved here today that that they did some business over the weekend. We have a lot of contracts already this month. I was thrilled. So proud of them.
It, I can't remember who said it or whatever, but somebody said something about Tracy Whitson on Facebook, and it's like, you're a celebrity. That's not the first time she's heard that now, so
If people aren't following Tracy Whitson and her videos,
they are hilarious.
yeah, you're missing out. She is a character on there, and we love having her on our team and knowing that she has stepped out so fully out of her comfort zone and
Yeah.
loves to do the videos in homes, and we love having her on our team, and we love our entire team. They are
Yep.
just near and dear to our heart,
Yep.
and they are only
Like
making
family.
us better.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a family. So, well, what else, dude?
I think that's about it.
Hey, I guess we'll see you guys later.
Yeah, and hopefully everybody got a lot of
Good information.
good information from Scott.
Yeah. Thanks for joining in to Welcome Home at Gateway Realty, and we'll see you guys later.